It is Monday, the 31st of October. That's right, y'all. Some of y'all gonna have your babies out there today or this evening. Gonna be trick or treating. Bear with me and pull this Bluetooth out. Yeah, y'all. You got a cell phone? Get you a Bluetooth. Get the specs. Save your money. Got a iPhone? Save your money. Why you gonna spend $160 on something that does the same thing? Pay 30. Do the research. And it's good also for all smartphones. Um, yeah, I want to commend those parents that are gonna be out there with the babies tonight, and gonna be trick or treating and stuff like that, continuing a tradition. But first and foremost, please be safe. For those who are going to be out and about, watch your speed, especially in these residential areas, because kids are not going to be thinking, and they're going to be darting in front of cars just to get that king size Snicker bar. And we don't want that to be a tragedy. We don't want that, right? Okay. But also be careful for these knuckleheads out here. They ain't got nothing better to do but to be mischievous too. So be cautious. Now, putting this video out, I should have threw the disclaimer out there, but I didn't, because I know that everybody that is part of this channel is striving to obtain. The objective is to be happy. We understand to be happy, you must be transparent. To be transparent, you must be vulnerable with yourself. Did you hear me? You can't sugarfoot, tiptoe, turn a blind eye. You feel that inertia that's inside your spirit. You know that something is building. Something must happen. Something is in the horizon that you are going to be faced with. But here, I'm here to validate. You've been ready. You've been prepared. And now it's time for you to acknowledge what you have learned thus far. Well, yes, because there's a lot of stuff riding on your process to love you. And that's why I entitled this video, Give Them Thanks. Oh, yes, you need to be thankful for the setbacks, the betrayals, and all the things that you didn't understand what the hell was going on. Be thankful. You said, Gerald, why do I want to be thankful when I was feeling like I was the only person on this planet and nobody got me? Nobody understood what I was feeling. Nobody was there. Why do I have to be thankful for that? It's because what you were feeling was growth. Who am I talking to? See, if you didn't go through those experiences, it was just an amount of time before you would have. Therefore, then there would have been things going on in your life continuously, which you do understand. You got free will. That is one of the spiritual gifts that God bestowed upon your life, the right to choose. So think about it. If you did not go through these experiences, this would not have given you the opportunity to prepare and see how not only important your life is, but how priceless it is. So give him thanks. He said, Joe, why do I want to give thanks to someone that all they did was not support me? That all they did was try to rob me of who and every fiber of my being. Why do I want to give thanks to someone or people that all they did was exploit my mind? How about my body? I've got scars. I might even have a medical condition. Let me tell you why. You give thanks because, for one, if you have yet to do this, your movement is coming. It is inevitable. That means you can't avoid it. It is going to happen with or without your consent. Who am I talking to? You're saying to yourself, it was all good yesterday, Drew. What happened? The veil was dropped. Clarity was offered. An opportunity for you to see the things that you knew nothing about that was going on that may have been hidden for an indefinite period of time. Let me explain something to you. If you are spending one iota of your precious time, because nobody's promising 4 minutes, the setbacks, the betrayals, and all the things that you didn't understand what the hell was going on. Be thankful. You said, Gerald, why do I want to be thankful when I was feeling like I was the only person on this planet and nobody got me? Nobody understood what I was feeling. Nobody was there. Why do I have to be thankful for that? It's because what you were feeling was growth. Who am I talking to? See, if you didn't go through those experiences, it was just an amount of time before you would have. Therefore, then there would have been things going on in your life continuously, which you do understand. You got free will. That is one of the spiritual gifts that God bestowed upon your life, the right to choose. So think about it. If you did not go through these experiences, this would not have given you the opportunity to prepare and see how not only important your life is, but how priceless it is. So give him thanks. He said, Joe, why do I want to give thanks to someone that all they did was not support me? That all they did was try to rob me of who and every fiber of my being. Why do I want to give thanks to someone or people that all they did was exploit my mind? How about my body? I've got scars. I might even have a medical condition. Let me tell you why. You give thanks because, for one, if you have yet to do this, your movement is coming. It is inevitable. That means you can't avoid it. It is going to happen with or without your consent. Who am I talking to? You're saying to yourself, it was all good yesterday, Drew. What happened? The veil was dropped. Clarity was offered. An opportunity for you to see the things that you knew nothing about that was going on that may have been hidden for an indefinite period of time. Let me explain something to you. If you are spending one iota of your precious time, because nobody's promised the next 5 minutes. Just like you can't get back the last 5 minutes of hearing my voice. If you are not placing your time where it is deemed valuable, appreciated, supported, empowered, you're being robbed. No, this does not give you a platform to be next 5 minutes. Just like you can't get back the last 5 minutes of hearing my voice. If you are not placing your time where it is deemed in his development, because it's his life, just like it is his last name, and of course, his seed. But yet, you convince yourself you don't need a man. How's that working out for you? I'm not saying this to be sarcastic, but I am pointing this out to let you know this. You know that struggle that you're going through right there, and those shackles you went through right there? You wasn't supposed to carry that by yourself. And silently within yourself, you know I'm telling the truth. But until you have a divorce with your ego and your pride, you will continually attract more of the same. The end goal for that is to break you down, to get you to submit to a life that's not yours. You actually have people to think, well, Gerald, I'm 60-some years old. I ain't got but 30 years, maybe. What's the point? It doesn't matter. Stop watching time. But if there's no joy in your life, you're already dead anyway. When you're going to stop holding your natural gifts and dreams hostage? You do understand when you suppress yourself, pressure busts the pipe. Yeah, I've heard that phrase, right? Pressure breaks the pipe. So what'll happen is that's why people rebel, because there's a certain ideology or system in place that they don't agree with. And all that does is cause conflict. You realize how many conflicts could be resolved if people would establish a dialogue with themselves first to establish communication amongst themselves? But we live in a society where we want the benefit without the investment, but we're surprised that the investment falls apart. Well, that is a mirror of the effort and the value that was given. So if you don't value you, why are you getting mad because they're not valuing you? If you won't be honest with how you feel, why are you surprised they don't tell you the truth? If you don't have peace and emotional safety within you first. Why does it surprise you that you can't account for their whereabouts? Who am I talking to? Listen, until you make a conscious decision to stop lying. Yeah, I said it. Every moment that you choose not to support and give yourself what you need, you're lying. You're lying to who you really are. And maybe that's the reason why it may feel like, Gerald, one more disappointment, and I'm gonna have a nervous breakdown. No, what's gonna happen is you're gonna walk right into your spiritual storm. And we do. But what will happen is all the things that were not transparent are gonna be made revealed. Everybody's gonna see it. Everybody. That's why you hear what is done in the dark comes to the light. Why? It has to. Because the things that are in the dark are the same things that are holding you from that peace of mind. But when you think about it, why do you feel you're not worthy of it? Is it possibly because this stems back to your childhood? You know, when people talk about what's from, people shut down real quick. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear the fact that the way you do and act and respond, it's a byproduct of what you learned. Mm-hmm. It's the truth. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people, a lot of adults that had bad guidance, bad parents. And as you get older, you see it, you understand it. But it doesn't matter if you don't adapt to it. Because guess what? Here is a bonus though. You know why you went through that pain when you was in your childhood? Hmm? That great disappointment, it could have manifested because daddy wasn't there. That could have been one of them. That could have been, okay, bam, dad's out of there. You cried yourself a many a night just to hear dad walking amongst you, or long for his touch, or hear his voice. Or we can flip it and say mom. Because there's a lot of parents out there that are physically there, but emotionally are disconnected. Now you got to understand this too. And that's the sad thing that a lot of people under the age of 35 have yet to understand. Scientifically, half of you is from your father, half of you is from your mother. How it is distributed and seen depends on how you are taught. For example, a baby doesn't come out the womb being a smoker. They don't. They're a clean slate. Here, here. And they are taught, and that is absorbed. That's why they're always watching. Those eyes are all big and they're looking. And that's why you see the lack thereof You see these little toddlers out here with mannerisms and behaviors of who was the most influential in their lives. You see, and it's sad because I ain't gotta tell you, you go on YouTube, there's plenty, countless videos of little boys and little girls carrying on like grown adults. They're only going off of and repeating what was a living constant. That means that was the environment. That's all they saw. That's all they hear. That's why, for those who are parents, the worst thing that you can do is willfully disrespect the other parent. That's the worst thing you can do to that child, because you are molding their perceptions, and as they develop, you also prepare them to rebel against you. That's why, for you, my single moms out there, Junior gets to a certain point, you can't talk to him. He's bigger than you. And he's echoing, well, I want to be with my dad. And he's going to crank that out till you finally concede. Or his behavior is such at a point that you can't control that. And you say, well, you know what? You deal with it. And then guess what? If the parent, the other parent, truly gives a damn and wants to be in the child's life, all those issues go out, they go away, just like that. Just like that. That's why I echo this and disagree, and that's okay. But I'm a firm believer, a man cannot teach a young girl to be a woman. He can't. He can provide the tools. He can provide the emotional support, but she automatically identifies she is different, and she is going to gravitate to whoever that fits that gender, as well as who will give or show compassion, even if it's bad behavior. Something to think about. So, to go back to my original point, there's a lot of people that yell, I'm strong, I'm hard, ain't nothing, I don't give a and you see it in their behavior. That's all show. That's all show. That's all show. But what you're seeing shown to you is what they lack. That's what they lack, y'all. You know that loud, boisterous female? She's loud and boisterous because she don't feel safe. She needs somebody that's going to say, come here. It's going to be all right. What's going on? And anybody that has any compassion is not going to, they're not going to be moved. That's why a lot of times when somebody's acting not themselves or acting out, you know what they do? They do everything in their power to run away from truth. Because when they sense that you have the focus on them, they're vulnerable. And they don't like that. Most people don't want to admit it. They hate the fact that they feel literally naked because, no, all that other stuff you were doing was a cry for help, a cry for validation, a cry to be loved. But because of pride and ego, you got to have that rep. You even hear people say, I'd rather be feared than loved, Gerald. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. But see, you wouldn't have to worry about having people fear you if you had yourself together. So that also puts a dynamic of this. Some people who don't focus on themselves look at you as entertainment, because guess what? If I'm looking at you supporting what you're not doing by your bad behavior, that means you ain't looking at what's going on with me either. And guess what? I can hide under that. I can hide under that distraction. Look at some of your friends. You know what they need to do. But you may have taken a position to say, well, I would say something, but they're going to get mad. They would get mad if I tell them. But what's the point? They ain't going to listen anyway. They're showing you where they are intellectually and emotionally. They're disconnected. They're broken. Now, you can sit up here and say, I'm ride or die. But most people are not. I'll be there. No, you're not. No, you're not. Most people don't even know the true definition of what friendship is. Because if you did, you would right off the bat, friendship equals unconditional love, unconditional support. So why would you allow your friend to put themselves in harm's way? Why would you allow your friend to willfully disrespect themselves? Why would you allow your friend to not see their worth? Because your friends are a mirror reflection of you. But you hear people say, well, Gerald, she crazy like that and she ratchet. Stop using that word ratchet. You know what ratchet is? That's a person who came up with that phrase that didn't have the proper vocabulary skills to say the word correctly. The word is wretched. You know what wretched is? That means they have no morals. They are the walking epitome of evil. They care nothing. They don't care about you. They don't care about themselves and the things that are connected to them. They don't. But you know what? They won't even, this is one thing they won't do. They won't take accountability for the choices they make. And they'll keep making them. But guess what? Sooner or later, that precious body of yours, it breaks. Who am I talking to? And you know what? You see it socially too in our society. Yes. Why do you think there's so many women by themselves today? And somebody saying, because dudes won't commit. You can't commit to anything if you don't know who you are, but you can't commit to anything without knowing the investment first. That's why God said it. To thyself be true. So to be true to thyself, that means you can't lie. You can't lie, Craig. You can't lie, Lisa. If you hungry, you hungry. Why are you going to ask for something to drink? You can't lie, Willie. And as long as you do, guess what? The devil's like, thank you. Thank you. Keep on going down that path, because see, what you don't know is right around that corner in the distant future, I'm going to open the door, because you're in a maze and you're going to fall right off the edge of it to your demise. And I've got you. Yes. You remember all those guys who came and did everything they wanted to your body? Remember that? I did that. Remember all those desires that you wanted? I did that. hmm Remember when you had that opportunity and you were supposed to make things right with yourself and your family members, but because of your anger, I did that. And guess what? It's time to pay up. People don't get real until they realize their mortality is running out. Same thing when people get real when they realize they got to go to jail too. You mean I can't be thugging and bugging no more? No. Get your ass in that prison. Don't drop the soap. Oh yeah, the relationship you had with her, she gonna be loyal for about 5 months. And she gonna jump right on the next bus going to nowhere. hmm Yeah. You know those family, your children you're supposed to be taking care of? Yeah. You can't protect them now. I'm gonna send somebody right in there to scramble up their mind. Because she don't respect herself, so she don't care. She gonna just lay up with anybody. She don't want a cold bed. Thank the devil for that. Because see, until you decide to protect yourself by being honest with yourself, you're not gonna know where you're going. And if you don't understand the road placed before you, how can you understand why you on it? You know, that purpose. That's like somebody going to school for 8 years to get degrees and walk across the stage to only realize that you hate it. That's not you. That ain't you, Craig. Now you got a bunch of student debt for a career path you don't want to be in. Why? I'll tell you why. Because you ain't being true to you. So let's bring this home. You got a conscious opportunity, a blessed opportunity right now to take a step back in your life. Take a step back and do some self-inventory and look at where you are. Are you happy where you are? And where you are, did you build it? Or was it given? Because anything that's given, most people don't see the value of it until it's gone. Who am I talking to? There's a lot of there's a lot of husbands and wives married because of a dollar sign. Oh yeah, I can't stand her, but I love her money. Meanwhile, they're just giving you everything you want. And the more they give you, the more they hate you. But if you don't play your part, they're going to throw your ass right out there in the street with the trash. I say this out of love, y'all. Because, see, society will never take accountability for the propaganda that it puts out. I echoed this for 4 years straight. Queen, stop looking for your man. stop and start looking for you. You know that little girl? The little girl that used to ride the little pink bike and sit on the swing and point at the clouds. Her. You got to get back to her. You owe her. Not that made by Maybelline that looks in the mirror looking back. Come on now. You don't recognize yourself. You're too busy doing the... Listen, as long as you put investment on what's behind you, you'll never understand what's in front of you because it's not coming from here. And as long as you embrace that mindset, don't be surprised the Johns come. Because a John will not build nothing with you. His old job is to distract you while the cheapest means necessary. Oh, you need me to change that tire? You want me to pay that bill? You want me to take you shopping? He's not a man. And some of y'all know that too because you get to do this. Bye. He drives off. And you already know the truth. Well, I'm going to get a divorce. Why? Well, I love him. So does his wife. So does his kids. But what you don't realize is that God already has someone better. They have your name written on their spirit. And they're being prepared. And in the intended time and moment, you know what? Because God is a loving but vengeful God, He'll let you see Him. You'll know it. You'll be out and about shopping, and you pass in the aisle, you'll feel a certain way. You'll feel this energy. That's your spirit. That's your spirit longing to latch, only to watch that person with someone else. You can't go through life treating people like the bottom of your shoe and expect that your life is going to turn out well. It doesn't work that way, y'all. And I know there may be some people like, well, Joel, I hear what you're saying, but I got it going on right now. Everybody's checking for me. Let me take a little air out of your head. They're only checking for you for what you bring to the table and what they benefit from. Because if you had nothing to offer, they would keep it moving. But what do I always echo? An opportunist does not need your help to expose themselves. But what is required is that you have the courage to embrace what is being shown. You only have one life. And when you think about it, do you really want to treat your life like you're at a buffet? Touching and smelling and sampling everything. Even though everything looks good, that doesn't mean you're supposed to have everything. Because that's a glutton. I'm supposed to do that. If anything, that's an example of free will. You have the choice. We're getting ready to go into a new cycle, y'all. You blink twice, it'll be November 1st. 31 days have passed in this month. What is the one thing in this month that you're going to leave in October? Have you figured it out yet? You should not be going to sleep dreaming about rest. Mm-mm, mm-mm. So I want you to thank those people that have willfully betrayed you, lied to you, squandered your time, stole your money, damaged your valuables, as well as those who walked out of your life. I want you to thank them now. You say, well, Gerald, that's all bad. Why am I going to give props to these people? You might not realize it, but they all showed you in the intended time and in that way that they did not deserve to hear you breathe. And they did not have the opportunity to see who you are going to become. Your job is to grow. That's it. Because what's at stake, even though you don't realize it, everywhere you go, you are a representative of your heritage, of your family story, your legacy for you. That's your responsibility. Because sooner or later, you're going to get called. And you're going to either be up there or you're going to be at the party. You're like Nelly, getting hot in here. No, I'm sorry. Um, but if you're spending time entertaining that, why no one loves me? Why do I have to, or you think you got to do extra and beyond the call of duty to feel validated, your existence? Let me tell you something. You need to admit, I'm telling you right now, 9 times out of 10, you are chronically depressed and you have extreme low self-esteem. And that will be also the reason why your decision making is impulsive. It's like this. It's all over the place. Don't believe me? Look at your odometer on your car. Driving around everywhere. You ain't going nowhere. For what? What you searching for? What you're searching for is right here. It's been there the whole time. Now, I'm about to bring this home. I got much love for each and every one of you. And I believe that 2017 is going to be a big year. And I also know that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to have to answer to a lot of things for behaviors past. Listen, when these things occur, take note, keep it moving. Did you hear me? Take note, keep it moving. I say this because misery loves company. And the one thing that I've learned, there's plenty of people that will say, yeah, go ahead, I don't need you, blah, 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 blah. They're lying. They're lying to you. And don't worry, because you're going to see them again. You would, listen, set my watch to it. In the intended time and moment, you're going to see every one of those people that hurt you. Especially if you gave love. Because let me tell you something. Nobody wants to be around an asshole. Excuse my French. Nobody. It's instinctively ingrained in you to forget. But even when you're around an asshole, there's a lesson being shown. Will you get it? Will you understand why? and look at the role you played in it. Because listen, nobody can do anything you won't allow. Did you hear me? Did you hear me? God's got something better for you. And don't worry about those people. Because there's a lot of people laughing right now to think that they got over on you. They all going to be crying. They're going to be crying and kicking themselves because what they did not realize is they had a blessing in the midst of them and they squandered it. 50% of the planet are going through that every day. Now, can a person change? Yes. Yes, they can. But you can't change until you stop lying to yourself. See, listen, you do understand the longer you run from yourself, the longer that you hold your dreams, your desires, your gifts that God gave you the moment that you took your first breath. You do understand the moment you took your first breath, your legacy was written. Because you was a spiritual being first. This right here, is just so we can get around planet. That's it. It's a means of getting through this earthly realm. But don't worry. God's going to show you with or without your consent. It just depends on if you're ready to behold the real you. Some of them ain't going to like what they see. And I feel sorry for them. But I pray for them nonetheless. God's playing for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. You know what? And listen, the worst thing that you can do is put value on materialistic things. That's a distraction, y'all. It's a distraction. Because guess what? Everything that God has for you, you're gonna earn it. There's gonna be wisdom that comes from it, and you'll keep it. Don't let nobody wave that in front of you like a carrot. Well, you want to ride that? That ain't your story. Be blessed.